Hey guys, this is Cruzroy. I was going to do a main gear today. This one isn't really that bad. It's still got some teeth left on it, but you know, I'd recommend changing them when they look like this. Typically I don't. I'll just run it until it just don't spin anymore, but it'd be a good idea. Here's that little brass ring everybody talks about. You need to save that, but sometimes when you try to grab it with your fingers, it just don't go. What I like to do, give it a little love tap, a little bushing comes out. Now save that. You're going to need it when we put it back together. What I was also going to say, these two gears, plus the one-way clutch, you can buy all this stuff separate instead of buying the whole assembly every time. You can if you want. It gets expensive, but you can buy everything separate. What I'm going to do is put in a line gear this time. They're a little bit rounder. They have auto rotation fins on them, where the HKs is just spokes. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to replace this. The tail gear still looks pretty good. Those usually last. That's why instead of buying the whole assembly, you'll end up with a bunch of tail gears, because the motor will usually eat through this before the tail gear. Alright, next thing we need to do is there's 4 Phillips screws, and I've seen them with hex heads, but this one's Phillips. Try to remove the gear here. Now once you unscrew it, just pull them apart. Be careful because you don't want to lose those little screws, so we'll tap them now. Get the little screws to fall out. Got one bugger that wants to stay in there. Alright, screws are out. What it is, you pull firmly and the shaft will come out of the needle bearings. You can leave this gear the way it is, but later I'll show you that the Jesus bolt hole has moved because that tends to slide around. It may get you later when you're trying to put it in. You're like, I can't get the hole in there. I can't get the screw in the hole. You'll see why in a little bit. It kind of moves on its own. There's the needle bearing, one-way bearing. You just pull it out. There's the, you know, like I said, I usually use this a little more. There's nothing really wrong with this. I just wanted to do a video on changing it. The new align gear, and we'll just try to line it. You line up the holes in the plastic. Now it's little tiny screw time. Alright. Okay, that's the gear back on the one-way bearing. What I like to do I have this machine oil. Just put a drop inside the one-way bearing. They do have a line grease, but you'll have this thing on and off a few times. You don't have to worry about grease. And now you have, this is the tail shaft gear for a belt drive, and just slide them right back on again. There's no alignment. It's going to go in, and if you notice, it has a one-way clutch. Alright, bearings on, one-way clutch. Alright, now, where you put the Jesus bolt, there's a hole, and it's in this metal collar that goes in the tail shaft gear. When I was playing with it and taking it apart, it shifted. It's off center. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's not lined up with the hole. What you do, I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't think it hurts anything. You have to go against the brake, and you'll notice that you can spin it. It's the only way I figured out how to get it to turn all the way around until it lines up. And what I do sometimes to make sure I'm lined up, take like one of your small Allen wrenches, and see, I can't get through. It's not quite there yet. You got to move it a little bit at a time until you can fit it through. Now I'm lined up. I just want to make sure it's lined up all the way through. And there's the little nut. Now if you can get your wrench all the way through, it's lined up. Now as long as you don't mess with this when you go to install it, I'm going to leave the Allen wrench in there. So when I go to put it on, it won't slide again, because you could accidentally grab the gear and spin it, and it just knocks that off. Okay, the one-way bearings in there good, and don't forget your little tiny brass bushing that just goes on the top. That's to space it between the bearing and the bearing block. All right. Now, the pretty darn good main gear. I'll just keep that, you know, when it's aligned, when it gets all tore up, I'll just put it back on, because as you can see, there's a few teeth left on that. That's like a redneck gear. A few teeth. Get it? Ha. And here's your new main gear, all ready to install. Alright. Hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I don't know, I'll probably do some others sometime. Alright, see ya. Bye.